all treats, no tricks on this loaded up edition of Bobcat Weekly. Hi everybody, I'm Russ Eisenstein, the voice of the Ohio Bobcats. It is Halloween week in Athens, and of course there's a lot of stuff going on, and Bobcat football is home for the first time in a long time on Halloween, and hopefully the Cats will make some new friends on Saturday as everybody comes into town to party it up for Halloween. Hopefully they can party with Bobcat football too as Louisiana's Ragin' Cajuns come to town. Bobcat volleyball is home on Saturday night as well. We'll start off with football on the weekly. After the ball game, Jason Corrier, Ohio Sports Information Director, drops off a stat packet to our radio booth, wherever we are. And really, it's a compilation of all the plays in a ball game, a play-by-play rundown, and the stats of distinction, team and individual stats. And on Saturday, the stat packet in Ohio's 34-13 winner over the Miami Redhawks weighed a ton because the numbers were so heavy, so good. Ohio has won 5 in a row over the Redhawks now, and the numbers just leapt off the page on that stat packet on Saturday. Ohio had 5 sacks, 4 interceptions, won the turnover battle 6-2. The rushing touchdowns, 5 of them for Ohio. 5 rushing TDs in a ball game for the first time since 2002. Head coach Frank Solich says that those rushing touchdowns are a byproduct of all of the weapons Ohio brings to the table. Other teams have to be mindful of a lot, and Ohio's having a lot of success because of it.
We've been able to get runs by our quarterbacks that when you throw that into the mix, takes away from your tailback carries sometimes. You know, some schools don't, their quarterback just never carries the ball. They're handing it off, or they're dropping back to throw, or the only time they carry is on a scramble. We've got design runs for our quarterback, and so that takes away a little bit of getting the ball to your tailback. But the good thing about that, it just gives you more of a package to draw from and forces their defense to work on more things to stop.
So now it's out of conference in week 9 of the season. It's an oddly placed non-conference ball game against Louisiana's Ragin' Cajuns. A lot of people might think, well, Ohio might hold a little back in reserve for the push for the MAC East Division title. But Solich says that's not going to happen.
We really don't approach it differently in that every win's an important win. It's huge for you in the program. And so we want to do our best to get that win. I think Louisiana Lafayette, even though their record right now is not a winning record, if you saw them early in the year and how physical they were against Oklahoma State and how that was certainly not a mismatch, you know that they've got talent on their football team and speed on their football team.
A quick word on Louisiana's Ragin' Cajuns. They used to be called Southwest Louisiana, then Louisiana Lafayette, and now the University of Louisiana. They're 2-5, and they're 2-3 in the Sun Belt Conference. They lost this past weekend to Western Kentucky on a homecoming at the Swamp. And that was WKU's first win in a long time. The Toppers broke a 26-game losing streak. The Ragin' Cajuns have had some injury problems. They were up at halftime earlier this year against Oklahoma State. We'll delve into Ooh La La coming up a little later on this week as we preview our game week coverage on Bobcat TV. Now to Bobcat volleyball. The Cats are in a different, unfamiliar spot. Ohio is 5-5 through the first 10 matches in conference play. Ohio was swept at home this past weekend, losing to Western Michigan in 3 and Northern Illinois in 4. Ohio still has a chance for the MAC East title, and Ryan Tice is curious to find out how his team is going to respond as they make the push to the finish.
I am curious to see how the team responds. We talked at length Saturday night just about I asked them, do we want to know why we're losing? Do we want to know why we lost these matches without being negative or harsh? I said I'm not gonna batter you all with hey, this is why or this is your fault. But if you want to know why, I can explain to you why, and so that we're coming up with a better picture of how to win. And they said, yeah, we absolutely want to know. And that to me showed that I haven't lost them. They're not, they're still in this MAC East race, and they want to be in position to win the conference tournament and go to the NCAA tournament.
We talk about Bobcat football being home on Saturday. Bobcat volleyball is too. Make it a day here before you celebrate Halloween that night. 2 o'clock for football, 7 o'clock for volleyball at the Convo against Eastern Michigan. Now to Bobcat field hockey. It was a happy senior day for a quad group of Cats. Ohio's Catherine Ballard, Paige Herr, Courtney Siders, and Brittany Zorn have won 51 games for the Bobcats in their time in Athens, and they're 29-10 in conference tilts. Ohio won 3-0 over Central Michigan on Saturday, senior day. Siders had her 4th shutout of the season. Ohio outshot the Chippewas 11-1. The Cats are now 10-9 on the year and 6-3 in the MAC. Bobcat soccer is home on Thursday, but senior day is better suited for a Sunday. And a trio of Cats were honored on Sunday at Chesa Field before Ohio lost 3-2 to Kent State in overtime, double overtime. Ohio in the last 4 matches has played 7 extra periods of soccer. That is amazing. The trio of Sarah Brown, Rachel Golding, and Jackie Hansen were honored. Hansen had a goal in the game. Ohio's now 6-7-4, 3-4-3 in the Mid-American Conference. Men's golf concluded their fall season over the weekend at the Mission Inn Classic in Orlando. The team placed 10th. Individually, Brad Lucas finished 22nd, and Paul Grauer finished 31st. It's that time of the year again. Men's basketball starts its exhibition season on Sunday at the Convocation Center. Can you believe it? It just seems like it was yesterday that we were in Providence, Rhode Island, celebrating Ohio's first-round win over the Georgetown Hoyas at the end of the season last year. And now the 2010-2011 season is upon us. The first of 2 exhibition games on Sunday against the Worcester Fighting Scots at the Convo at 2 o'clock. Big moment for me on this trip to Oxford over the weekend. You guys know I'm a big sports nerd of sorts, and so a big moment prior to the start of the season is picking up all those college basketball preview magazines. And I encourage you to do so, A, to get ready for the year, and B, to see the Bobcats on top in the preseason poll in all of these magazines. Fun to see, fun to get ready for the season because of that. We'll see you at the Convo for exhibition play on Sunday. Don't forget season tickets are still available. 800-575-CATS or go to ohiobobcats.com. That leads us into the Bobcat calendar. On Thursday, the home finale in the regular season for Bobcat soccer against Akron at 3 o'clock. Volleyball goes up the road to take on Kent. On Friday, field hockey travels to the Ozarks to take on the Bears of Missouri State. And swimming and diving starts it off at Eastern Michigan. On Saturday, a loaded day. Men's and women's cross country is at the MAC Championships in Kalamazoo. Ridge Robinson, the 2-time MAC Runner of the Week this year in the league, will certainly be one of the favorites there. Annie Beecham won on the women's side to take a look at for the Bobcats. Swimming and diving is at Toledo, and volleyball at home against Eastern Michigan. On Sunday, how about the year that wrestling had last year? Going to the NCAA championships and an All-American to boot. Inter-squad meet at 10:30, and then hoops gets going at 2 o'clock. That'll put the wraps on another loaded edition of Bobcat Weekly. Happy Halloween, everybody. Do you have your costume ready to go? How about you wear some green to Peden Stadium on Saturday for Ohio and Louisiana Lafayette? Our coverage starts at 1 o'clock for the kick at 2 as Ohio takes on the Ragin' Cajun. That'll do it for the Weekly. For Ashley Hartzell, I'm Russ Eisenstein. This is Bobcat TV.